You're watching a Big Z review. Scream 7 is the newest movie in the multi-decade long slasher series. And this is definitely a downgrade from the last two films. This is definitely more along the lines of a lot of the other mediocre to crappy reboot quos that other series have had. It's just okay.
I want to be a fighter, like you. If you hurt her...
I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it.
Tatum, listen to me. He's trying to find another way in. We're gonna do this together. You're gonna have to shoot him through the wall.
Now, first off, there were some shenanigans with this film. Because the last two films, they were the start of like the whole reboot quo that they did. And they mainly starred Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. And they're like two sisters, and like one was the daughter of the main killer from the first movie, and she's seeing him, and she's worried that she might go crazy and become a killer. And they're really good. They're a good team. I like a lot of what they did. Like it felt like some of the best movies since the originals. But then it's weird because October 7th and the attack in Israel that then led to the genocide of Palestinians. Like Melissa Barrera posted support for the Palestinians, and then everyone like blacklisted her and fired her from Scream. And then Jenna Ortega quit in solidarity. And you know, the weird thing is that she didn't say anything bad, because there are some people that took the horrible what's happening. Both sides were horrible. You know, the terrorist attack were horrifying, and then Israel's response was also horrifying, and it's still horrifying. And some people took that as a way to be really anti-Semitic and even like supporting the terrorism. But that's not what Melissa Barrera did. So the whole thing was just very weird. I know some people were like boycotting the film. And me personally, since I was sick anyway, my voice is recovering, but still a little janky. But I didn't go see it on the weekend. So I boycotted for their opening weekend box office. But I saw it today on Monday. And you know, it does feel weird because I felt like they were setting up a trilogy. And that trilogy doesn't have an ending now. But I guess that's good because those two movies were a lot, Scream 5 and 6 were a lot better than Scream 7. Yeah, this one is just a real basic reboot quo that brings all the stars back, even ones that are dead. And the main stars Neve Campbell as Cindy Evans, and then her daughter Isabel May as Tatum Evans, and her husband Joel McHale as Mark Evans. And the whole thing is like, but Mom, I want to bang my hot boyfriend that looks like he's 30. Like, why won't it let me bang my hot boyfriend who might be a killer? I don't know. You'll have to see. It's a lot of times a killer, but is it too obvious for him to be the killer? But like that, it's all very heavy-handed. But at the same time, I loved the cold intro was great. And the first half of the movie, I enjoyed a lot. Like, essentially, there's like a false ending, but it's way too short, so I know it's not the ending. But like, they get one of the Ghostface killers, but then of course there's more still. But like up to there, I really liked it. But I think my biggest issue, this has the goofiest setup for a climax. Like that, one of the most goofiest ones I think I've ever seen, just because it makes zero sense, and but especially because of what the previous half of the movie had set up. Because you know, her husband is the chief of police in their small town, and like she has a gun and she's ready. She has multiple guns. Of course, she hasn't trained her daughter at all for some reason. But her little two kids are away at grandma for some random reason, so they don't have to worry about kids being killed. Only 17-year-olds can be killed. The children can't be killed in this Scream movie. But it's so weird because the husband is the chief of police, and he knows they're coming. He knows there are still murders out here. And they even do, like, after a kid gets murdered at school, they know there are murderers out. And, like, the police disappear for the second half of the movie. Even though, like, multiple times, Sydney yells at a person to call the police and send them to the bar. And you think there's a lot of gunshots, there's a lot of people screaming, and not one cop shows up until the wrap up of the film. And it's so odd because I understand that you wanted to have the setup with the scene in the trailer where the killer is coming for the daughter, and Neve Campbell is using the security footage to tell her where to shoot. And the setup for that is even dumber than the fact that the police disappear for no apparent reason. Because the setup is that she is like doing an interview with Courtney Cox, as Gail Weathers. She's finally given the interview, but then like the guy calls, and then the whole side plot where is it a deep fake or is Matthew Lillard, Stu Macker actually alive, which is very goofy. But when the killer calls and tells him that I'm outside your bar where your daughter is, I'm gonna kill her. Like she runs out the building, runs out of the interview, and goes to her car, and the car is locked because she apparently left her keys inside the studio. And she's like, Then she starts running to the town, and this is when the whole big scene, like in the big, some of the violence is kind of cool. They have some practical stuff. The dummy is a little, you can tell it's a dummy, but there's some good stuff here. But it's so funny. She decides to run to the bar from wherever the studio is instead of going back inside and getting her fucking keys. It's like, there's no way it would be quicker to have the 50-year-old woman jog in the town than it would be to go into the studio, get her keys, come back, and drive 120 miles into town. But the funniest thing is that's where the scene in the trailer, where like she's on the road halfway to the bar when she's telling her daughter where to shoot through the walls to get the killer. It's just so idiotic. And it's funny because the director this time, and the direction is basic but fine, but the director is Kevin Williamson, and he was one of the main writers for most of the Screams. And his only directing gig was in 1999 for a movie called Teaching Mrs. Tingle. So had not a big resume other than his writing. But like, I think the writing is what fails, just because it's just stupid. And like the different twists and turns, that is all Scream stuff. But this time, when you finally find out who it is, it's like, that's kind of dumb. But okay, I guess that works. It feels like some people are acting really goofy, and then like the daughter like figures something out, and it's like, no, I was just doing this for fun. I'm not the killer. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's like, but it's the Scream movie. What are you gonna do? In the end, it's not horrible. It's just the whole setup for the climax is so odd. I was in the movie theater watching like, what the fuck? And then at the end there's some like call an ambulance, and it's like, whoa. And then you see and then the wrap up. There's all these police cars and ambulances, and I was like, where have they been? It's so weird, especially because like I expected it to be some sort of twist where like this is what it isn't. A spoiler that's not a spoiler, but I kept expecting it to be a bigger twist that Joe McHale was somehow involved in the killing, or the whole police force where all the Ghostface killers, they're tired of Neve Campbell. They wanted to get rid of her. And there had to be something involved with the police because they just disappeared. It was so odd. Or that the Ghostface killers killed all the police. But apparently they have a curfew and they know the killer's out, but all of the police are just not patrolling the town at all. It just broke my brain a bit. But as a whole, it's like 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. It's not good, but it's not horrible. In the end, it's still a Scream film, and all the Scream films have been entertaining, even the worst ones. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.